With Star Fox's appearance in the Super Mario Galaxy movie, it's got everyone focusing their eyes on the fox and his gang, so this is quite literally the only chance I can talk about this before it becomes irrelevant. Please watch A Fox in Space. A Fox in Space is a fan-animated series based on the Star Fox series created by Matthew Gifford. It serves as an adaptation / unique take on the franchise with loose ties to the continuity. It has most of the same characters in the series, but they've all had situations and events slightly altered to show a bit more of their character. Stuff like their parents, their personal life, relationships, the chill time they have. Stuff that was before they start exploring a lot of system in the games. Here's the one thing you need to know about A Fox in Space. It was not originally A Fox in Space. It was originally Star Fox the Animated Series, and if you go on archive.org or YouTube, you can find traces of Matthew Gifford's vision for this. He's been working on this series for years, decades. His vision has changed over time to what he wanted the series to focus on. At some point he wanted to focus on the Star Fox gang as cadets at Corneria Air School or something. Or maybe he wanted to do just a straight adaptation of the Star Fox games. It took him that long before he settled on A Fox in Space, and even then he's still making changes to his vision. Due to the length of time that is required to make each episode, and he mostly does them himself, there's a lot of things that go under the cutting room floor. Episode 1 was released in 2016, and Episode 2 was released in 2023. Yeah, things change, life changes, but the fact he's still been able to show his vision for what he wants in the Star Fox animated series is so beautiful to see. And judging off his YouTube post, he loves how Fox was presented in the movie. Now, A Fox in Space is not good because it has Star Fox characters doing stuff and it's super cool, no, but also yes, it's good because it's fucking good. Gifford, or Frederick Fox I'll call him now, needs to get hired by a writer or cinematographer of some kind because he gets it. He knows how to write characters and sell a scene. I will say firstly, the potential for this series is already perfect. There's a lot of potential for the dynamic and interactions between the characters, which is why I think he saw so much potential in a series like this. The banter, the natural conversations, all of that is seen in the games and makes you think of situations that wouldn't be battle related. And with how not lore heavy Star Fox is in certain places, especially when they like the vague post, it makes your mind wonder. But also this series is written so well. I think that needs to be said first. This script is written tight and the visuals presented accompany it so well. If you are a Star Fox fan, watch this. If you are not a Star Fox fan, watch this. You don't need much context besides the bare basics to understand the series. Fox has been revising and changing his plan for years, so he's gotten good at writing in that time and, you know, helping people understand why he loves the series and how to introduce it in an engaging way. This series takes its time. It takes its time for its dialogue, its conversations. It takes its time allowing you to fully take in information and the visuals. It also respects your time. That would sound contradictory, but all of the scenes last enough to have an impact without being like, next scene please. This series has a very distinct art style, being 2D drawn, but later having like some 3D models that are traced over via grease pen, I think? I'm not sure, but it gives the series a charm that others don't have. Some would call it ugly, but I think it's made up for in other aspects such as the camera work. This style works for this world, especially for its tone. Some people call this an Adult Swim show, and I'd be obliged to agree. Some people relate to Cowboy Bebop. There's so many ways to describe this show, and I've still struggled on how to define it. I think the best way I visualize it is a show you saw late at night on TV when you were a kid that you probably weren't supposed to be watching. Like, this is a very mature series. Not that it has gore and blood and guts everywhere, but more so adult, like in terms of the tone and lighting. The music is almost always atmospheric, save for a few tracks, so no matter if the conversation is serious, funny, tense, or natural, it still plays the same tune. This is not how I'd imagine a Star Fox series to be adapted, but the fact it works so well gives so much credit to how it was executed. We've had little animated shorts here and there, some of that 3D anime style that show the more lighthearted / cool moments the Star Fox series can display, but something like this? Practically unheard of, especially with dialogue like this. Conversation in this series are so smart. They give you just enough information to gather the pieces, especially in a world that isn't giving you all the info straight up like an intro cutscene. It's so interesting how whenever I watch a clip, I just end up watching the whole thing because the conversation is that engaging. You always know the relationship between people based on how they talk, and while it's a no shit moment, in the world of animation, the little things matter because all of it is purposeful. Like, look at how Peppy and James interact with each other.
Now, if you don't want to talk about... No, it's fine. It was just a long time ago. I made a mistake. Pepper made it go away.
And that's why you owe him one.
Yeah.
Something worth sending us to Venom over.
You don't have to go, you know. I can find someone else.
Now, Jim, I didn't mean it like that. I just have a bad feeling on this one. I think you do too.
That's part of the job. And if I'm right, we won't even know what this one really is until we're right in the thick of it.
Also, I need to mention the audio. Every voice is given this filter. I want to call it a radio filter, but it's like something you hear out of an old TV back then that dates the series in the best way possible. Like you're looking at something from a time capsule. There's so much subtlety that gets noticed in every rewatch, and knowing all of it's purposeful makes you appreciate it even more. For example, in episode 2, we follow James McCloud in Venom, and when talking to Des, he remarks that Venom is a dangerous planet, and that he never grew to care for it. That single line tells you so much about his character. Did he live here? What made him never care for it? And if he did live here, why did he leave? It's simple lines like this that expand the world so fast and make you understand the characters. People are allowed to breathe. And I keep saying that, but in a day when I watch modern animation, even TV shows, it seems they just don't ever let the characters just exist. Especially observing. In this series, the thinking is natural in their mind, with only slight tints of facial changes before they realize something. It's not made extremely obvious, and it's also not meant to explicitly state what they realized. You have to know what they're thinking to understand what they possibly realized. And with the way the camera is placed, it doesn't put too much direct attention onto it. This is a series that is deadass just characters talking, and it carries the entire show. There's barely any physical action. The most we get are tense build-up scenes that do a wonderful job, but the climax is never something insane. For the record, this is not a show that will be enjoyed by everyone. If you are someone who needs something to keep your constant attention, this might not be your cup of tea, and that's alright. But I do implore you to give it a chance, because you're missing out on something really special, especially today, where the focus is on Star Fox. I wish I had more time to talk about scenes like Wolf noticing Fox on level 9 and being genuinely impressed, the conversation between James and Des, James' conversation with Andros. There's so much life to these conversations that also act as natural world building that doesn't need to be explicitly said, and I'd love if you could also go watch it. There's only 2 episodes. 2 episodes. One is 13 minutes and the other is about 40, so you're not wasting that much time. If you want more Star Fox besides the game, this is one of the best adaptations I've seen of any series that can hold up on its own entirely, Star Fox or otherwise. Maybe when Gafford finishes, he can go write some other series, because he clearly knows how to. Also, I forgot to mention that he has like a really big presence in the early internet, like the 1990s. I don't know if any old people are watching this, but via the interviews, he has like extensive history to the point I don't think a lot of people know about it. But feel free to check out the video though, it's really interesting. I used to be really big in the Sonic fandom, and oftentimes I'd see AUs or different takes on a franchise with radically different tones and situations. You know, a school universe, swapping places, stuff like that. There used to be this one Sonic comic I read called The Murder Me. That one was pretty good. I haven't read that one in a while. And I think a Fox in Space is the result of having that kind of idea, that take, that different view, and crafting it into something that is borderline a masterpiece that can stand its own separate toes. Anyway, I'm tired.